of course, the dentist has the authority. That's why if you have the split, is more simple that happen what you say, like with a hygienist. We say yes to a hygienist because he's a doctor, then you go to the front office, he says no. And the second thing is that usually the problem is that from the operatory to the front office, the patient many times doesn't have the financial part, because I say yes, but maybe I don't know how much it will cost. So he say yes, yeah, oh, what? Then $1,000, I had to think about it.
AI isn't just changing dentistry, it's completely redefining it. Tune into BYTE SIZED Podcast, the dental AI and tech podcast, and stay ahead of the curve.
Most dentists believe patients decline treatment because of cost, but the research on human decision-making tells us a completely different story. Dr. Simone Stori is an Italian dentist with a background in clinical dentistry and a deep interest in patient psychology. Dr. Stori began studying the gap between a dentist's clinical recommendation and a patient's emotional readiness to say yes to cases. That inquiry led him to build Smile Up Studio, a chairside AI tool that shows patients exactly what their smile could look like before they ever leave the chair. And he joins us today to talk about the psychology behind case acceptance and what happens when you give patients something to feel, not just something to think about. So welcome to the welcome to the podcast, Dr. Stori. It's a pleasure to have you again.
It's a pleasure to be here another time. Is it to have some AI talks with you that we our common patient. So he's really excited to be here. Thank you, Adrian.
That's great. That's great. It's our first conversation was super interesting, and what you're doing with technology is kind of just, you're way ahead of the game. So I thought, man, we got to have Dr. Stori back on.
So it's I can connect my work with my passion. So for me, it's really I really like it. I really love it to do it because it's natural to do it. These new things, also the power of AI. So it's very exciting.
It's pretty crazy.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah. So let's talk about case acceptance. So when you look at case acceptance, like the case acceptance rates, like how often a patient accepts cases, what's the most misunderstood reason that patients say no? Meaning, when they say no, what do dentists typically think they're saying, why they're saying no, and that being part of the misconception about why they say no?
The basic is like the selling process that is based on emotion. We know that the three brains law of MacLean, maybe you know it.
I don't. Oh, the way the brain is structured.
Yes, the brain structure. So it's the reptile. So it's
there's this, which is the center, like the base.
Yes, is the MacLean theory that is very interesting. Also in the selling, also is the basic of my theory of the different positioning of the USP in dentistry, because patient decide with emotion. So the first things is to be in empathy with you. You have to trust you. You build the trust in very few seconds. Then the second part is like the way the person, the patient, thinks that what we say, it will be useful for them. And the third part is also at the end, where the logic, so it's the neocortex brain, so the typical human brain, what we see in all the graphics, that is only the last part, is all the logical part. So when we talk about selling process, so case acceptance, we usually think that the patients say no, you want to think about it. Think about it usually is about logical, but what we is that we have built no enough trust and excitement about the result that we will achieve, in particular way about aesthetics.
So what you're saying is that human beings, your patients, make decisions emotionally from from the reptilian part of our brain, very fundamental.
No,
deep,
it's in the second part because it's the
it's in the
second
second
level.
part.
Because the
Okay.
first part is only, you see, you have the patient. I see the new patient. You see me.
Yeah.
It says in a few seconds, it's a person that I can trust or not.
Right.
And you cannot force it. It's something that you can build. You have to be I don't have the word now. You have to be confident in the immediate. You have to build trust in the last 30 seconds. And then you have first level. Second level is only about emotion. So what I say, I like it. I like it what he says is what I need, what I want. And then only at the end, you have to think about it in a logical way.
Okay.
So people,
we make decisions at the second level, not at the reptilian brain level, but at the second level
is only I like you or not I like you. Very easy.
Yeah. Am I afraid of you?
When
Am I
I was
comfortable?
in the animals is I have to fight or die.
Yeah, flight or fight.
Sorry,
fight or fight.
Yes,
fight or flight.
This is a reptile. So I like it or not. If I can stay, then we move on.
Gotcha. So I'm a patient. I come into your office. I get emotionally engaged. I say yes to treatment. And then what I do is I logically justify my decision after the fact. So I'm moving from the center out.
Every purchase we do is doing like this. We don't need a new iPhone because we have the old that it was. We say that we have the battery that is dead, but
right. That's the justification. That's the logical. So when a patient says, well, I need to think about it, if they say, oh, I don't know if I think I need to think about it, they were not emotionally engaged enough to encourage them to make the decision.
Yes.
Is that fair?
In particular way about aesthetics, because aesthetics in dentistry is not a pain. You don't have to think about the pain.
Right.
But about a new smile that it costs a lot of money, pain, a lot of time, and is only you do for aesthetics, usually.
Yeah, that's all emotional. That's all about how I feel about myself. And
it's all about emotion. It's all about emotion. That's why usually what we do in dentistry, what we do from a lot of time with the DSD system, DSD Smile, Christian Kochman, this is the inventor, the creator of the DSD process. We do the mock-up, the digital smile design. We do the mock-ups. And when we do the mock-up, we have the best of acceptance in aesthetic cases. But we need time. Usually, we need time to build a DSD. The DSD training, it takes, with the old system, it takes 1 hour to project a new smile. So we can do it real time. So you have to move the decision of the patient to another level. In this time, it can happen a lot of things. You have maybe
they can talk themselves out of it. Yeah.
That's why
they go home, they think about it, and they get unemotional.
The wife or the husband say, I love your smile, why you do these things. There's a lot of things. That's why we have to make the process as fast as an emotional high as possible. This is the concept in the case of acceptance in cases.
Okay, so let's say I'm a dentist and I'm coming into the operatory and I'm saying, yes, you need to do this or do that or whatever it might be, even if it's an aesthetic procedure. Then I leave the operatory and the patient, and I think as a dentist, the patient's going to accept. But they then tell the hygienist or the assistant, they go up front to the front office, the front desk, and they say, yeah, let me think about it. And they don't accept treatment. So what happens is that the doctor is like, why the hell is the patient not accepting? I felt like they agreed to it while I was in the operatory. What's happening? Who's to
Usually that
blame?
the problem of this is that a problem of authority, because in front of us, the patient say different things that in front of front
They
office.
say different things to, yeah, absolutely.
That's why
Absolutely.
I always have my treatment coordinator inside operatory.
Okay, so you're the way you run your practice is the case acceptance doesn't happen at the front desk.
Process
It
of
happens
consultation start with the treatment coordinator that also follow me through all the process, because the treatment coordinator, not the doctor, is the center point of the patient, is not the doctor.
Right. Yeah.
Because it starts from the phone, then it starts with the when the patient the welcome, then it starts with the pre-visit, so it's a consultation room, not operatory. Then we go to operatory, and then you move another time to the consultation room. But the focus, the reference person of my team is the treatment coordinator, is not the dentist, because he will follow all the part. Of course, the dentist has the authority. That's why if you have the split, is more simple. That happen what you say, like with a hygienist. We say yes to a hygienist because he's a doctor. Then you go to the front office, he says no. And the second thing is that usually the problem is that from the operatory to the front office, the patient many times doesn't have the financial part, because I say yes, but maybe I don't know how much it will cost. So he say yes, what? Then $1,000. I have to think about it. That's why when I teach consultation, I always teach dentists to give at least the budget in the operatory
while the patient's in the operatory.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So you've closed the loop there. So I can tell you from a patient's perspective, this is my own experience. I went to the dentist, this is a couple of years ago. I go every 6 months, but this is a couple of years ago. Just to let all the doctors know, I'm a compliant patient. Okay. So, I needed to, I asked about aligners, Invisalign. Okay. Cause I wanted to do some straightening. I actually have, I've got aligners now. I don't have them in right now cause I can't talk with them in well. So I asked the doctor, I said, I'm interested in aligners. And the doctor said, oh, that's great. We would probably want to do, this process or that process or this aligner, and it'll probably take this long. And then kind of like didn't talk about the budget. And I was, if the doctor had, or the treatment coordinator had said at that point, while I'm in the chair, let's move forward with this, I would have agreed. But what happened is I got up, I walked from the operatory to the front desk, and in that short 15 seconds, I thought, maybe I should hold off on this. So when I got to the front, the front desk said, well, are you interested? I said, you know what, let me come back in 6 months and talk about it again. And I was out, and it took me another year and a half before I decided to actually move forward. But it was literally like the short moment of standing up, walking to the front desk, and knowing that now I'm talking to someone who has not been involved in that journey, in the story.
What they say,
it has to be
chain. You have to be a chain. We have to have always a drop-off moment between, even if sometimes it happens that the patient have to go in the waiting area and then to the secretary. I teach my dentist and my collaborators that you have to make a little bit of transition. So he says, okay, Irene, I'm here with Adrian. Adrian is very well. We talk about ortho. Please make this, blah, 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 blah. But with him. So it's very important to have the patient like it understand that is follow. There is a unique line, a chain. It's not in block. It's very important.
I have an example of this from a different industry, and I want to explain it because it fits perfectly. I mean, I know that no one really likes to talk about sales, but this is a sales process. Okay. We're trying to figure out a way for the patient to accept treatment or make the sale. Okay. So I used to, like 25 years ago, I worked at, I was doing phone sales. I was on the phone. It was telesales. I was on the phone all the time talking to people about buying a product. Right.
Mhm.
And what would happen is if I had a call with somebody, the whole first half of the conversation was trying to figure out how to drum up the emotion. I have to get the person emotional so that they will then move. I can get them into the process of making the decision and whatnot. Now, and a lot of times what I would do is I'd go through that sales process and I still wouldn't get the patient to accept what, or not patient, excuse me, the person to buy the product. And they would say, let's schedule a follow-up call tomorrow or whenever. And then I would get back on the second call. And on the second call, I would go immediately to the sale. I would just go right. I would skip all the emotion building process and go right to the sale, and they would never buy. So what I realized after this happened so many times is I have to take the patient through the same process. You have to get them back into that emotional place, or they will not make the decision logically.
Absolutely.
Now, here's the crazy thing. My experience with dentists specifically is that they are on the spectrum more logical than they are emotional people. Okay. Now that's a very general statement, but just they're more, I mean, they're scientists at some level, right? They think about things logically. And so the process of telling a doctor, you have to get your patient into an emotional state in order to make a decision, is contrary to the way that they see the world, because many doctors don't recognize that that's how most people make decisions. You see where I'm going with that? Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. It's only the basic of one of my most important, in my opinion, book that I read about the sales process from a dentist is Dr. Paul MacLean from US. That is exactly say these things. So it's like
what's the name of the book? Do you remember the name of the book?
How to Make Patient Say Yes, something like that. Dr.
Okay.
Paul MacLean, in my opinion, is one of the best dentists that teach sales in the world, and he's from
Got
US.
it. Okay.
He's only teach this. It's like is the dialogues where you have to move from logic to emotion, and you have to stay on a line, on a level that you have to move up from emotion and then go like an hype. So it's very specific, it's very well done. So absolutely agree with you, Adrian.
Homily.
Paul is the way. Paul
Homily.
Homily.
Homely. I think. Yeah. So I don't know him, but I've heard about him, and I've heard he's incredible. So okay. Yeah. So that book basically talks about that. Well, I'll put a link to
my most important book in my career that I read about sales. Then the second is Jordan Belfort.
What did he write?
The book is the straight line persuasion. So is the training of Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yes. Okay, all right. If anybody's seen that film,
process in a cold sales process is the best. Then, of course, you have always the bad part, but we take the good part, and the good part is very good.
Yeah, because if you just tell doctors to start acting like Jordan Belfort and close deals, and they go watch Wolf of Wall Street, they're going to be like, Dr. Stori, why did you have me? I'm not turning my practice into a freaking shark.
The basic things that is a phone seller, the basic things, the script of Jordan Belfort is to create all the qualification of the lead and create the emotion, and then only at the end. So it's what you say.
Right.
Is exactly what.
Yeah, I always, when I was in telesales, there was like when I would train people, I would say, look, the person that's on the phone that's emotional is getting sold. The person who's emotional is the one that's being sold. So it didn't matter if somebody got emotionally sad or sorrowful or angry. It didn't matter. As long as there was an emotion, they were into an emotional state, they get to the place where they become malleable, frankly, to make a decision. So, and obviously in dentistry, you know, we're not manipulated. There's no manipulation in this, right? We have to be careful that we're not manipulating. We're not selling something that somebody
it's always
doesn't
ethic,
need.
it's always transparency. It is the basic of now the involvement of the patient is very interesting, and the involvement is about transparency. So we make all the scannings, all the use of the devices, the wearables, all the things that we have talked also in the past podcast is the same.
Yeah.
But we have to add more emotion. That's why in aesthetic cases, we have to find a way to create a great emotion, and also in the first consultation. Because when we talk about veneers, okay, I can say you will have the best natural smile, but we have to imagine. It's difficult.
Yeah,
it's not,
you have to imagine it. You have to be able to see the image in your mind. Right. Yeah.
So it's difficult because it's not you have a problem, you have a carie, you have to put implants, things like that you can show, tell, and involve. The problem in aesthetics is that is only emotion, because we make veneers to be more attractive. And how I know that they will be more attractive? That's the problem in the first consultation. And usually we have to move to the mock-up. So we make the case study that is digital or then physical, the mock-up.
Right.
And usually every dentist that do a good work with the mock-up have an acceptance. But the problem,
if the mock-up looks great,
the
mock-up looks great, then So I can see why you developed this product, because it's solving a few problems, and we'll show the audience here what the product is in a second. But because your process is to try and get case acceptance to happen with the treatment coordinator within the conversation that's been happening as the patient's in the office, not letting them walk and go up to the front desk and talk to somebody who hasn't been part of any of those conversations. So you're trying to narrow that case acceptance to a point, okay, which is probably in the operatory where they would really accept. And also,
but he say yes in the mentally in the operatory. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, mentally definitely in the operatory, but also trying to use a tool, a software tool or AI, to improve the emotional kind of state of the patient. So basically trying to create the image rather than having them imagine what they might look like,
because
show them what they would look like.
When you talk to patient, have you ever imagined to have straight teeth, for example, that one your case? You can say yes, I have imagined, but you will never see how it will be to have straight teeth in your mouth, in your face. It's not it's a fake, it's not a mouth. That's why to create with AI, we find a way to have a photorealistic before and after with a selfie, with a photo that we do in the patient in less than 30 seconds, directly in the operatory. That's the goal where it starts the project. The project is we can have a DSD, so a digital smile design, immediately in the operatory without
without the time lapse, without having to wait,
in a way that patients say, okay, I will like it. Go ahead and make the exact study, the exact mock-up, because of course the simulation of AI, you have to say to the patient it is only a simulation, is like an idea, but it's very strong idea.
So Dr. Stori gave me access to his tool, and I actually used it. And I'm going to share Now I need whitening like, okay, but I've had aligners and so can't do it yet. But anyway, I need whitening, okay? I drink a lot of coffee. So I used his system, and I'm going to show you the before and the after. So I took a photo. Let me just share my screen really quick.
Okay.
And okay, so this is the mock-up. So this is inside of the system. So on the left, you've got my ugly yellow coffee-ridden teeth. And that was the photo that I took, the one on the left, and I put it into the system. And in like 20 seconds, it gave me a teeth whitening version, right? This is what my teeth will look like after whitening.
For clinical, put attention to details. The whitening simulation, the complication of this tool is to create a system that do exactly what we want. Because in whitening selection, we don't want to move the teeth. And for example, take a look that the incisor lateral of Adrian is still not perfectly aligned.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So you're saying the software, when you run the software, I chose teeth whitening.
We have 8 functions. Okay. Whitening, ortho, of course, aligning. Ortho plus is alignment. This is very common in Italy, is in Europe, is the alignment plus whitening plus bonding. So is little modification of the angle of the teeth to create a perfect smile with a non-invasive. Veneers, implant, injection technique. This is one of the most the things I most like.
What do you mean by injection? Like
injection technique is very common in Europe. Is the alternative to veneers doing with composite with a mask.
With composite, right? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
With a mask that we inject. We make a stamp.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Okay. I'm a trainer of this technique. I like it very much. And then we have also a new system that we can upload a mock-up. We can upload one of our cases, and it will use the template of our cases to make a new smile of the patient. So every function is different, and we have the problem is to create something very real, and we solve these different functions. Because if we do only aligner, we don't have to whiten. If we have to whiten, we don't have to move the teeth, of course.
So if I needed aligners and my teeth were white, you would just choose aligner, and it would show me the alignment. But let's say that I want aligners, and my photo is this photo, which is yellow teeth. It wouldn't whiten the teeth.
It's yellow teeth. Yes. If you will choose alignment plus, ortho plus, we call it, you have also the whitening.
What about full arch or like full mouth reconstruction?
We have full mouth reconstruction for it. I sold 2 cases with this of full mouth.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very impressive, of course, for the patient, because usually when you have a very ugly mouth, when you need full mouth reconstruction, very, very ugly. And if you say to patient, you will go back to it well, and you have a very nice smile, look how you will feel, how you will look. Photo, 20 seconds is done.
So
that's why it's a project.
Before we jump in, I actually want to ask you some questions about some of the cases that you've closed using the tool. But before that, one of the other things that you produced for me in the mock-up is a video. So you get a before and an after photo, but then a video. And let me play that video really quick.
Sono così felice. Te l'hai rosinato.
All right, so the video also, the video is great because, an image is awesome, but, seeing movement in the smile it helps to create more of the image in the head of the patient about what they're actually going to be looking like, when they're talking to somebody. So super, super cool little product. So obviously this solves the problem of in the moment, being able to answer some of the questions that you have, what will you look like, which leads to this emotional state which will encourage them to hopefully accept the case. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
So
And of course, we can send an email, we can make an editing, we can do whatever you want. For example, a thing that we understand is to also to to flip the image, because usually when you see at the mirror, you see is different. So this is also an option to mirror it, because it's more similar to the way you see in your mirror, because you see differently.
right. Okay.
Is
So
it
you match it with how we see
psychological
ourselves in the mirror.
things, but we study everything. So that's why we move ahead and we decide, because I love marketing, and we decide why we don't use it as a way to attract new patients also. So, okay,
I
for
think there's
the
a definite use case for that, for sure. Absolutely.
because this is
I mean,
no one, the DSD, you have it, you can simulate, you can do whatever you want, but no one at the moment has created a way that you can professionally simulate the new smile from home before
yeah.
contacting, and use it as a lead
Yeah.
magnet.
So I think, so I I'm on TikTok all the time, and because I'm in the dental industry, I just get TikTok dental ads constantly. And usually the ads that I see are Invisalign or aligner in the ads from orthodontists, or they're full arch, full reconstruction ads, because those are high profit margin services, and it justifies the practice running an ad campaign. But never have I seen an ad that's like, hey, this is a patient that came in, here's what they look like, and here's what the before and after. By the way, if you just load your photo in here, I'll show you what your smile will look like after we get done with your case. And then you put a link in there to a landing page, and then you have them upload their photo. I mean, yeah.
Then we have also modified to make it more easy. We make the first page is only you upload a photo. Then you click generate. Second page, it asks you the details to obtain the lead.
Right.
So you have to give the name, email, and phone, and then you will obtain the after.
Yep. So for really, I mean, so there's two use cases here. It's the case acceptance inside the office when you're with the patient, and it's also a lead mag. I think that those are,
yes, it's a thing that we can use it both, and it's both is very interesting for all general dentists and people that do aesthetics. It's an amazing thing, because it's simple, and also is built by a dentist, so it has to be simple. I have to do in the operatory with the patient that is with me. I need to make 3 clicks, not more. So it's very
nothing else. There's not. Most dentists don't have the time to stay on top of technology.
Because, for example,
so it's got to be click, 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 done.
That make me away from the DSD, because the DSD is amazing, but now is also move ahead AI. There is also other platforms that can do these things, but it's always more effort than this. You can maybe
it's more complicated.
Maybe you have it more precise, but it's not important this time. The preciseness of the simulation is to have it in 20 seconds, 1 click with the patient. Done. Finished.
Speed, simplicity. Yeah.
Then
and frankly, so I was just going to say, even like with that before and after that I showed of myself, and you said one of my teeth, I can't remember which number you mentioned, was slightly off.
Rotated. Yeah.
I don't see that stuff. I know you do.
You see a wide smile.
I just see a wide smile. I'm like, oh, sweet, let's do that. Right. I don't. So precision, having an AI generated image that's perfect is not necessary.
It's also an objection
to get the case accepted.
Yes, we have many dentists in Italy, when we launch the product, have the objection that they have the fear that the patient accept the AI result and we have to obtain the same. But I use it a lot. And if we do the good work and how the work must be done with the AI, I always say it's all an idea, of course, But we go,
Okay.
we can arrive very near, and the patient accept this. The patient
All right.
understand is not a stamp on the result.
Yeah,
The
I
patient
didn't see that
understand.
potential problem. It's the doctor providing an image that the patient now has, and when they get done with their case, they're like, "Wait, my teeth don't look exactly like
But
that.
look
You
at
didn't do what you
look
said you were going to do."
look at the bottom of the simulation, and also in the email there is the disclaimer. Of course, there is only
Yeah,
an AI generated image to obtain. You have to,
right.
of course.
That's a good legal claim, but the issue is mostly going to be the issue of conflict in the expectation of the patient needs to be managed before you go through the case and not just rely on a legal claim.
No,
You need
no,
to say, look,
absolutely. You
this
have
is
to
just an
say,
AI
yeah, yes, it's like to say to have a professional Instagram filter. We use it like this to say to the
Yeah.
patient.
It's not
More
going to look exactly like this, but it'll be close to it, but blah, blah, blah. Okay. So as long as you kind of like solve that potential conflict ahead of time and make sure that the patient doesn't make a claim that you promised them their teeth were going to look exactly like the image,
Yes,
then you're good. Okay. And that's
but
just setting the proper expectations.
no, yes, we have to talk to the patient that is like an idea. If we talk like this, the patient understand. If
Yeah.
I say this is the result you will achieve, it will be a problem, of course.
Yeah, you're going to
course.
run into legal problems. Yep, you are. So tell me, go back, you started mentioning some cases. So you just got this thing launched like a few weeks ago, if I remember right.
Yes, it's
I mean,
2
it's
months
pretty
a
new.
bit. Mhm.
All right, so you've been using it. Tell us how it's helped. Like, have there been some
Helped me
cases
a
that have
lot.
been cases that have been,
Now, before starting the podcast, I finished my working day. A patient that make the simulation yesterday want to talk there's a big problem of is a teacher. This problem of aesthetics, very dark and crowded. We simulate an injection technique result. We send it the simulation yesterday, and because I send all the report to the patient with the simulation, the scanning, and so on, and it says yes. And also, I have finished the consultation to his husband. The husband said that the wife has been to 10 dentists. He's always said from yesterday, from my consultation, she's very excited. And also convince him to come to the consultation today. And we close a 12K implant cases from a simulation, more or less.
that's have you seen a lot? Have you seen your cases
this is today.
across the board? That's just today.
Is also all today. Then we close all the injection technique cases. We have closed it with the simulation, and a lot of also. I have a very empathic remember of the girl, the very young girl, is 32 years. With one teeth remain, that we have to make a full arch simulation.
Yeah,
make the photo, and she's like start to cry because she's very excited to come back to smile. But the concept is a tool, is not the solution to all, because the solution is to create a consultation process that follow the right principles. And of course, the use of AI is very interesting, not only in this part, but to create document, reportation, transparency with the scanning, with the report, with the wearables. We have a lot of tools that can help us to make a great experience to our patient. And this tool is only the last part of the great experience that we can create, because no dentist make a consultation process like this AI enhanced. That is also where we'll talk about it in June, when me and Adrian will be also together in person, I hope.
Yeah. Hopefully the world doesn't blow up before then, but yeah. We'll be at the London Medical Dental AI Summit, and you're speaking, correct?
Yes, I'll be talking about the AI enhanced for consultation. Of course, I will talk about also this topic.
Yeah, and I'm going to be speaking about hygiene, using AI for hygiene recare. using AI agents
Oh,
to book hygiene. Yeah. So it'll be really cool. I encourage anybody watching to come to the summit. It's going to be in London, June
27,
26th,
28,
7th,
7,
27th,
8.
28th. Yeah. So yeah, I'm taking you to dinner when we meet. Okay. So
It will be a
there you go.
pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you've seen several cases close because of this just in the last couple of months. Big cases, it sounds like.
Also big cases, yes. More big cases. We need more emotional involvement, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, as I told you, is not the only solution. But if we add a correct pattern of the consultation with the treatment coordinator, a pre-visit where we focus on the patient as a person, not as a number, not on the teeth, but on the person. Then we move ahead to diagnosis, correct diagnosis, scanning, visual communication, and then we add also the simulation. I think that we have all the steps,
all the pieces.
You
You got all the pieces.
Yeah. Yes, that's all.
I mean, I understand that like the whole consultation process needs to be completely dialed in, but this piece, I think, is super effective in solving one of the main problems with case acceptance, which is how do you get the patient to get to that emotional state? It's the image that you're helping them create in their mind of what their life looks like if they accept treatment. And that is just not an easy thing to do, but it's now accessible because of tools like what you've built, right? I mean, I think it's a great product, fantastic product.
Thank you.
What do you, I mean, in developing this and then giving it, offering it to other doctors, what do you see like globally as doctors are starting to use this
start
technology?
to use it. There are a lot of many dentists literally love it. They use it all days. Some more smart dentists also start to use in the lead magnet system. He's a colleague that is very expert in aesthetics, and he create a whole funnel dedicated to the simulation.
Do you think, I mean, what does success look like for this product? Meaning, if we move forward into the future a couple years and your product, which is an AI generated tool to help case acceptance, what does success look like to you? What would you say, looking back, say, hey, I built this and this has been successful for me outside of just selling the product? I mean, I'm not talking about
my
monetary
opinion
stuff.
is that my success is to hear dentists that tell me success stories like the one that I say. That is the success. It's not the selling, it's not the number, but it's to give a real practical and efficient tool to dentists that want to do a good work with their patients. So what it makes me excited is the stories that I received from my patient, from the case acceptance, and also from other dentists that call me, Simone, I use it. I love it. Amazing. I will start to use it. Today I close a veneer cases with the simulation. This is the goal. Of course, I hope that is also a product can be really international. We can be all over the world because it's also we have in English, we have in Italian, and every dentist around the world do the same aesthetic procedures. So
it's the same process.
Can be worldwide, so it's the same process. So what it will be like is to give also what I want is I always like the feedback of the dentist that can help me to enhance
further
it.
develop.
So in every week,
to talk about it, to spread the news.
But also to talk to me, to give me new suggestion to enhance it, because if you can give a suggestion, you are involved. So make me better. The whitening process is not like this, making me more natural. So I will improve the product week by week by the improvements given to from other dentists.
The feedback to enhance and improve the product. Gotcha. Well, I'm going to put all the links to check out the product in the description. And I think I've been in dental marketing for 16 years now, and this is a really, really great product. And there's not a lot of, it just seems like, why has this not already happened, kind of thing, That's, it hasn't happened because the technology hasn't been there, but
absolutely, it's the power of AI, because we have it, but it's very workly. We have to work a lot to have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have, it's a lot of years that we have from the walks up with the walks to simulate. Then we have the digital smile design that we do with template, with PowerPoint. The oldest, that we have to upload the template on PowerPoint.
There's a lot of processes, a lot of steps.
2 hours to create. Then we move to software, and then arrived the AI, and in 20 seconds we can achieve a photorealistic simulation of the new smile of the patient. That's the goal of Smile.
It's a great product. Dr. Stori, you're brilliant. Thank you for coming on. And
I can wait.
I will do whatever and I will do whatever I can on my end here in the States to help kind of move this message out, because I think it's
absolutely. Thank you.
It'll be super helpful to dentists. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for listening to Bite Size Podcast. Tune in to stay up to date with everything dental AI and tech